your friend last year was my why, Ali, whereas this year,
What?
only because I think I'm quite a sensitive guy and I take a lot of things to heart. And this guy loves Ali Blouse. He does not want me winning at all. But
No, yeah, but I.
I don't know. I know.
तो क्या हाल चाल है दोस्तों, स्वागत है फिर से एक बार आप सभी लोगों का बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटर में। आज की इस वीडियो के अंदर हम लोग देखने वाले हैं रायन टेरी का आर्नोल्ड क्लासिक यूके इंटरव्यू। सो कंप्लीट इंटरव्यू वीडियो लेके मैं आ चुका हूं। सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटर को। बहुत जल्दी सैमसुले का इंटरव्यू भी आप लोग को मिलने वाला है, जिसमें उन्होंने अपने अपकमिंग ऑफ सीजन प्लान, अपकमिंग उनके कॉम्पिटिटिव प्लान, सब कुछ आप लोग को बात करते हुए नजर आएंगे। काफी इंटरेस्टिंग उनका भी इंटरव्यू रहा है। सो बहुत जल्दी वो भी मैं लेके आने वाला हूँ। सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटर को एंड आप लोग इस इंटरव्यू को एंजॉय करिए।
It was hard for Andre to watch Andre because he had his friends, his family in the audience, and I was kind of willing for him to do well in front of them. And he did look phenomenal, but I think Vitor just brought that package, which was undeniable.
Yeah, and how does it make you feel? You started back when men's physique was kind of like a little bit in the shadows. Now it's at the big shows. How important were you to be here in the UK to watch your division at such a great stage here in the UK? Like, because I know how men's physique now is so popular. It wasn't always at that level, and now we're at the top. How does that make you feel to have it, and why do you want to be here to watch the show?
Yeah, no, absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to show my age here. So I've been doing this since, well, 2010 I've been in the industry, but 2013 when men's physique first became a thing in the UK. So to see how far it's come on in 16 years, something like that, is just unbelievable. And I'm proud to still be a part of it as well, because I think a few people are done with me now and want me out of the way, but I'm still holding on.
You're more than holding on. I remember back in 2015, 16, when I was covering bodybuilding, I saw this young guy, like, oh, who's this handsome guy? There was always, Ryan Terry was always in the magazines as the handsome guy from the UK. Who's that handsome guy from the UK? Obviously that was you. And all this modeling thing, and then you start with your men's physique, you start winning shows right away. Yeah. But that level, you were there, aesthetically pleasing, good-looking guy, to now, still good-looking guy, but density, muscle. A little bit. You have gone with the times with the other guys at his time. They're not winning shows no more. They're there, but some of them are in the master divisions. The look still good, but it's not the same look. They lost. They haven't gone with the times. How did you just get better while doing so much business and with everything you're doing, your own gym, family? How do you get so with the times and you change your body, get better and better and better?
I think for me, bodybuilding is always, although I call it my job, I'm very grateful to call it my job. It's always been a massive hobby of mine, even before I started competing and stepping on stage. So I never lost the love for it. I always just did it for the passion and for the enjoyment of training and that consistency in my life. And it always gave me consistency in my life. And I don't know, when people say, like, they used to say in the early days, well, if you got a bit bigger, you could beat Jeremy, you could win then, or if you had a year out and you could do this and you could do that. And for me, I loved being in prep. I loved the consistency it gave me. And I just stayed true to what I believed one day would be good enough to win the Olympia. So I just stayed on track and I didn't rush the process. And I just made it, like I say, part of my life, my day-to-day life.
So how do you then, because a lot of people would be tempted to just push for size right away. But that also can lead to blowing out the midsection. You have one of the best abs. Ali Bilal told me, he DM'd me and asked, by the way, who has the best abs, you or Ali Bilal?
I was going to say, you're a good friend of Ali. So
yeah, I know. That's why I had to bring that up.
Watch what I say.
No, but how did you then not focus on putting so much size at once, but actually staying the course and knowing your physique slowly gains, and not just blow up?
Yeah, I was never obsessed with size. I was obsessed with bodybuilding. I trained with super heavyweight, so I was in amongst it from the age of 14. My stepdad was Mr. Mr. Britain in the NABA Federation, so I was brought up on bodybuilding. But I never wanted to rush the process. I was inspired by it, but I never aspired to look like those guys, like the size-wise. And I always wanted that athletic look, and I wanted it to be functional as well. So I wanted the best of both. So when men's physique came out, I felt like I was hitting both sides of it. I could still do, obviously, my fitness, and I wanted to be there with my kids as well. I want to be able to run around the football field with my kids and be active like that. So that's kind of why I stayed true to to men's physique. I didn't go too big. And I'll be honest, I'm not genetically gifted to hold the muscle some of the open class have. Like, I've religiously ate 6 meals a day for the past 24 years. I started when I was 40. And I'm not genetically gifted to be that big. So I kind of played into my strengths, went for the condition and shape rather than pure size.
But that back though, that's been crazy improved. I remember when you started, you had a great back. But have you guys seen his back now? It's like it's incredible. You're winning Olympia titles with that back.
Yeah.
And everything else, but that back is incredible. How did you manage to get so improved back, and what did you do for your back training? Because back in men's physique, a lot of guys don't have it.
Yeah, I think for me, it came to a point, so I'd been competing at the Olympia for 10 years up until that point, and I was always in the mix, but I was never a contender. So from the front, I was always like in the mix for first or second, but whenever I turned to the back, I was always dropping places. There was the likes of like even Brandon Hendrickson at the time and Andre Ferguson in their days. They were always beating me from the back. And in 2023, when I was obviously my first Olympia win, I was actually going to retire that year because I didn't want to just keep making the numbers up. And the year before, I placed the worst I'd placed before, 7th, and I didn't want to keep putting my family through it. And I thought, if I'm not what the division wants anymore, I kind of need to step away and not put my family or people around.
You're willing to retire if you didn't.
Yeah. So I actually, in 2023, I built my gym. I set up 2 or 3 businesses because I was trying to get my head around not focusing on competing and focus on business instead. And it was, but then when I spoke to Steve and Tyler, I never got feedback. I probably wished I'd done it previous. I wish I'd asked earlier, because they just said you need to bring that back up. And I thought, you know what? And I said to my wife, this is my last year competing. I want to go out knowing I've done everything I can. And they were saying it's small things in your back you just need to bring on. So I went to work. I trained and I still do now. Monday and Friday, it's the only muscle part I hit twice a week. And I just, corrected my posing. I got feedback on my posing, which was terrible. I didn't realize how bad it was until they gave me feedback on it. And that's what kind of won the Olympia for me.
Last question about that. You say you really put your focus in. Was it different training? Or was it better mind-muscle connection? Like, what is it? Because you always train back. So what was the specific thing?
Yeah, so I basically, higher carb days, so higher carb days, the day of back or the day before. I was doing lower and width work on a Monday and then lower and thickness work on a Friday. And I just really, lent into that more so than anything else. And just hitting it twice a week made such a difference. Also, obviously my mid-rhomboid was the thing lacking. And that was the thing what just didn't pop. So I did a lot of pronated work, a lot of bent over barbell rows, things what was just targeting the weak points in my back. I always had width. It was just that thickness in the middle of the back.
Okay, the legend of men's physique highest, Jeremy Buendia right now. He has 4 titles, correct? Yeah. Most of all time. And how many do you have now, Ryan?
Yeah, I've got 3.
You got 3 titles. You know what that means? That means this Olympia prep for you is about tying the record.
It is.
Of 4 with Jeremy.
Yeah.
So just by me saying that, what goes through your mind knowing that you started back in them days doing well, but not always placing the highest at the main event show?
Yeah.
Then now you are able to tie the record.
Yeah. So honestly, even saying that gives me shivers because I always remember seeing or being in amongst that and knowing Jeremy's got 4 Olympia titles and that it was unbeatable. It's no one's is going to come close to that, let alone me getting close to it. So even talking about it now gives me that motivation. So people always say to me each year, like, what gives you motivation to keep coming back all these years? Like, why are you so driven to do the next one? And I always find a reason. There's always my why. Your friend last year was my why, Ali, whereas this year...
Well, one thing about that, did you like... I love the excitement for it. Did you guys like that excitement last year with Ryan and Ali? Some fight people... Yeah, there you go. Someone says no, because some feel it's a little bit disrespectful. And some people like it. For you, did you like it?
No, I'll be honest, I didn't. Only because I think I'm quite a sensitive guy and I take a lot of things to heart. And in all my years of being in the industry since 2010, I'd never been accustomed to that. I'd never experienced it. So all my preps I've always had a good team around me, a good aura, and I've always made sure my family, everyone around me gets the best out of me as much as they can. So he brought out a side of me I didn't particularly like. I liked the result, and I liked the fact because he he drove me to be better. So I did like that aspect, but at the same time, I was obsessed. Some of the things I was doing in prep 8 weeks out, I had a head torch on going around Clumber Park, around the lake at 4 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. I was obsessing over taking this guy's head off. And it was good in the fact that it made me angry and I wanted to showcase, yeah, what I was made of. But at the same time, my wife said, I don't recognize you. You're like a zombie. Like you're here, but you're not. You can see you're in a different place. And it was coming from, I say an angry place, but it was coming from not a positive place. Whereas every other prep, I've always been, yeah, coming from.
When you then win, when you then win, do you only think about, of course, the win, but was it like, I beat him, or that's something you don't even care about when you win?
No, so I'll be honest, was it 3 weeks out when there was a post that came out, and I sat back in my chair and I was like, what am I doing? Or what's this guy turned me into? And I'm giving him my energy, whereas I've never done that before. So that was the turning point for me. So from that point on, I switched off and I went back into my own zone. And I'm glad I did, because that's where things started to change. I went over to America and I just got back in my lane. And that won't happen again. Obviously, it was the first time it happened. If people try and throw shade again, it is what it is. I've got enough motivation this year from positive standpoints that'll drive me enough. Like, my son's going to come out for the first time. He's 5 now. Keeps asking, Daddy, like, what do you do for a living? Like, what is it, these people? Because people stop you in the street and have pictures with you, and he's asking why he's having pictures with your daddy. And I'm like, I want to show him. Before I retire, whenever that is, I want to show him. So he's old enough now to understand. So that's my driving force this year. And nothing will change that. Nobody will change that.
So when does the prep start?
I'd love to start now. After this weekend, I'm so motivated to start now, to be honest. But I can't start too soon, so it'll be about 9 weeks from now, which is crazy because I can't believe we're talking about going into prep already. Like, it's coming around so quick.
Will there be anything different since you are prepping to tie the record? Is there anything different you're going to do then? Are you going to train with someone? Is there something you're going to do extra because this is a big one?
Yeah, no, it's hard because last year it was the most. I'd love to mimic last year's result, but I think I'd be very fortunate if that happened. It's a one-time thing to stand in that X in the centre from the moment you step on stage, to never be judged or moved around was a phenomenal feeling. It's a once-in-a-lifetime feeling. So to get that again, I'd be very fortunate. But if I could mimic what I did last year, other than obviously taking motivation from Ali, then I'm happy with that, because that's what Steve and the judges, the feedback was saying is you're the standard now, so try not to change anything. And I'm at my weight cap. I can't put any more size on. I'm 202 on stage when I weigh in, so there's nothing really much I can do other than just keep bringing that condition and shape.
If you win this title...
No, when?
When you win this title, there you go. Obviously, you don't plan years ahead. There you go, yeah?
Sorry.
Of course, that's the mindset you have to have as a top guy, the best in the world.
The thing is as well, like, even saying that then, so up until 2 years ago, I was always that guy, like, oh, hopefully we'll win and fingers crossed, whereas now I'm like, no, that's mine now. So yeah, just a different mentality.
Yeah, well, you are the king of men's physique. I think that's the mentality we want to see, isn't it? Yeah?
Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, with the family and the business and everything else, you know, but also this mentality. But so when you win this title, obviously the main goal would be to get number 5, though.
Yeah, I'm pushing
Huh?
it. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, so I always said, to be honest with you, 5. And my wife will vouch for this. So I always say I would love 5, because 5 is a number where 6, 7 years you've got to win consecutive 6 years on the trot to beat that legacy, to beat that record. So that was always a great number for me. But at the same time, I want to retire on top as well. So it's a hard one, because I'm 37 now, would you believe?
Hello. You're not old at 37?
No, but I've been doing it since, obviously, 19. So,
okay.
So it's a long time. And my body, I've had 3 hip surgeries. There's a fair few injuries, snapped ACLs and everything. So, yeah, I want to still be able to run and be there for my kids as well. So we shall see. But I would love to get that 5th title, 100%.
How proud are you, though, of yourself? Because I remember back in the Circumstance days and these Sadiq, it was you, it was Jeremy. but you just gotten better and better and better. But with no scandals, by the way, nothing crazy going
yeah,
on.
anyway.
Yeah, no, I can't. I don't know any scandals with you. How proud of you are of yourself that you are able to be doing this for this long at the top of the game. When you start with that group, you're the last man standing, but you're not last man standing. You're the last man standing at the top.
Yeah, it is crazy when you say that, and I think until you come to like expos like this, you don't realise. Like even my wife said it last night. She actually apologised to me, because it's the first time she came to my show since having kids. So 5 years she's not been to see this. She went, I forget what you've actually achieved. And we sat there last night. She got a bit emotional. I was like, yeah, it is mad. Like really is crazy. So I'm very fortunate. I know I am, and I love what I do. And I think the moment that stops, then I need to stop. But I love getting up in the morning. I love doing my routine. I love the life it's given my kids and my family. I didn't come from a lot, and bodybuilding's been very good to me. So I'm very grateful for it. But at the same time, I'm still not done yet. Like there's a little bit more I need to achieve yet, and then I'll bow out gracefully, and you'll never see me again.
Well, so you become an icon, and where I live in Scandinavia. So every young guy, he says, AJ, look at me. I'm looking like Ryan Terry, yeah? So like every guy in the men's physique who's got the good hair that's starting out with a nice smile, they want to be you.
Okay.
You know, with the Superman pose. And so it's like you are an icon in the men's physique, and we want to know to the young people out there just starting in men's physique, what are some of the advices you want to give to the guys just starting in men's, or the people who want to compete, if it's bikini or whatever, what can you tell them in the beginning?
In the beginning, so I would say, obviously, bodybuilding in any class is it's a lifestyle. So 365 days of the year, you've got to live and breathe it. It's not something you can do for 16 weeks or any shortcuts in it. And that's where longevity comes into it. If you want to play the long game, it's enjoying what you do, enjoying the process, finding the foods you enjoy, because there's a massive variety of foods, and what somebody tells you to eat and you don't necessarily like it, you're not going to sustain that for a long time. And that's why I self-prep. I've prepped myself for 4 years now, and it's because I love the way I train. It's very, very sporadic. It fits around my kids' life, my businesses. The way I eat, I still get I've cut it down to 5 now, but I've always had 6 meals. I cut it down to 5, but it fits into my daily routine. Whereas if you have a coach, or if you're going off somebody else, that routine or that method might fit them, but it might not necessarily fit you. So that I learned that very quickly, that you can fit anything into 24 hours if you truly want to do it. People say, how do you mix your kids with your businesses? I've got 5 businesses and I travel the world and stuff. I'm very fortunate with competing, but where there's a will, there's a way, and you always find time to do things. And I'd also go and have a look at the shows first. If you're thinking of stepping on stage, go and have a look at the shows. Have a look at what class you think you're going to fit into, and then have a look at what's winning that show. So have a look at their stage presence, their condition, their transitions, shoulder to waist ratios, everything. And then you can compare yourself to what's winning the shows you're looking at doing. And that way, when you step on stage for the first time, you're not just a number, you're a contender, and you're going for that number 1 spot. And I think it's important, that is, because for me, it's all or nothing, it's first or nothing. So that's always been my mentality. People say, I just want to step on stage and for a bit of stage time. I'm like, no, you need to have that mentality of you step on stage and you're going for that number 1 spot.
And specifically for men's physique, because you have that extra it factor. How do we get that? When you walk out on stage, you guys see him at the stage. When he walks out, there's a different type of, you bring something different. The people, you want to stop, okay, who is this guy? And it's not just a physique, it's like something. How do you get that something?
So that's why I'm still doing it, because I'm trying to work out. The guy I am when I step on stage, he's my alter ego. It's the person I would love to be 24/7. So I'm the most nervous bodybuilder. Like backstage, I'm like this. I'm very, I always have been. I've always been that guy. But when I step out on stage, like even looking back at some of the Olympia videos, and I'm getting the crowd, I'm doing this, and I actually don't realize I'm doing that, and I'm cringing when I'm watching back. Like, oh my God, I'm that guy.
What?
I'm cringing because I'm going like this, trying to get the crowd going. But I just love it, that feeling of confidence. And when we start to compare each other and we start to battle out, something comes over and I'm like, right, we're here now, let's have it.
Okay.
But and when I step off stage, I'm back and I think, can't wait for the next time, because that guy is class.
You don't carry that persona nowhere outside on stage? Never?
No, I don't. I never have done. But
How much do you practice your posing and things like this with your training? How often do you practice posing? Because that's crucial for men's physique.
Yeah. So I start practicing 8 weeks out, fasted after my cardio for around 30 to 40 minutes every day. And I do a lot of isotension work, which is very monotonous, very boring, but it definitely helps with condition, helps with keeping that waist tight, that mind-to-muscle connection when stepping on stage. I do a lot of planks, vacuums, all that kind of stuff, as well as my posing routine.
Again, here in the UK for the Arnold brand, Ryan, like, don't you guys want to see him in the UK?
I feel like...
Yeah, Ryan, because not everyone can go to America and all this.
True. Yeah, I feel like you've been listening to my conversation about this week, because I always said I'd never do the same show twice, because once I've achieved it, I feel like it's very hard to get the motivation to do the same one. And everyone's like, well, at the Olympia. But obviously I'd never won it up until the point, so I was always really fired up and motivated to do it. But the thing for me is I like to break records. Every show I've ever done, there was always a reason behind it. It wasn't just a random show. There was always like trying to set a record in something. And next year would be 10 years since winning the Arnold US. And I was tempted to, maybe in the UK, but I was tempted next year thinking, would I be the first one to win it, obviously 10 years apart, which is crazy, and then to win the Olympia at the same time. So, yeah, I'm getting fired up, I must admit. And to be honest, seeing the production of the Arnold was absolutely phenomenal. And the way they treated the athletes backstage, everything, I was thinking, I would like to be a part of it, more than just sitting in the crowd.
Arnold this is a tremendous how it's run. I've not seen anything like this.
Yeah, no, phenomenal, honestly. Because I've seen a lot of shows, I've been all over the world to a lot of bodybuilding shows, but I was really impressed with this. And yeah, I wouldn't mind being a part of it. And like, you never know, do you? Like, I started in the UK, I could end in the UK. Whenever that is, I don't know when it is, but you never know. We'll see.
Well, I think we're all really, really excited for what you're going to do in just a couple of months. Hopefully, you will tie the record.
This guy loves Ali Blouse. He does not want me winning at all, but...
No, yeah, but
I know.
Hopefully, or you will tie the record. This is going to be
appreciate that.
A great, great moment. And in men's physique, we've had both Brandon Hendrickson and Jeremy. They're all from America. They got like seven titles.
Yeah.
So I think the UK crowd definitely will want a UK athlete to tie the record and to win it.
It would be amazing. I'd love to be able to do that, 100%.
Yeah. We want to wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Are we excited for this year, for Ryan?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And just a little thing before we go, I'm just really also happy that since you started to now, the professionalism, the clean boy image, as they say, is very needed, especially in men's physique, where it's always doesn't have that. You know, there was some things in the past, but you kept the same image. That's yourself. It's not an image. It's who you are.
Yeah.
And I really think it's really good to have role models who have that image. That's who they are, because you inspire people to do the right choices based on positive things, Ryan. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
तो गाइस सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटर को बॉडी बिल्डिंग की दुनिया से जुड़े इंटरेस्टिंग कंटेंट के लिए एंड बॉडी बिल्डिंग की डेली लेटेस्ट एंड फास्टेस्ट न्यूज़ एंड अपडेट्स देखने के लिए। बाकी सब मिलता है नेक्स्ट वीडियो के साथ में। तब